Well, the 2022 Jets were more toxic than we thought. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I am discussing how the 2022 New York Jets were pretty toxic. Before we get started, Matt O'Leary NY on social media. You guys know the drill. Appreciate you following along. And also, Just Jets podcast episodes drop every single Wednesday. Make sure to check it out. You could also call in and leave me your reaction to all different kinds of Jets news, and we'll talk about it on the show. This video is brought to you by Geology, which is a 16-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company recognized in Men's Health, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and Ask Men Grooming Awards. Geology creates simple and effective skincare and hair care routines customized just for you with ingredients that are proven to work. Their products are built around just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Right now, for a limited time, they are hooking you up with an absolutely insane offer. Use my code MattO'LearyNY50 or scan the QR code on the screen, and they will give you an additional 50% off their award-winning skin care trial set. This discount stacks on top of their current sale prices, and that is not all. On top of that, they're giving you an additional bonus offer on one of their brand new skin, hair, and body products of your choice when you add it to the trial. This is one of the best offers that you will see. Make sure you get it before it is gone. So why am I talking about the Jets being toxic? Well, Zach Rosenblatt, who covers the New York Jets for The Athletic, dropped a story about Mike LaFleur, Zach Wilson, and what went wrong earlier today. And there were a few things to note in this story that, well, came off a little bit toxic to me. First, we're going to talk about Mike LaFleur, who I was in favor of keeping and generally liked, who I thought, even though he was a little bit flawed, but something that he did that really rubbed me the wrong way in this story was that he was talking about Zach Wilson after his rookie season and went about talking about how Mike White, Joe Flacco, and Josh Johnson all outplayed Zach in 2020. Is that necessarily false? No, it's not. But do you want your offensive coordinator, the guy who is supposedly in charge of getting the most out of your number 2 overall pick, after 13 games to be going around bad-mouthing him behind his back? And that's not to say that Zach is without any blame in all of this. Of course that's not true. Of course it's also on Zach Wilson to take that next step in the development. But at the same time, again, that kind of just goes to show LaFleur's inexperience. You can't be going around talking negatively like that about your number 2 pick. And if you're doing that in open spaces where people are going to then leak that to the media, then what is he saying behind closed doors? What is he saying to other people in the building, on the team even perhaps? And maybe that's where the disconnect started, because this year it really felt like the team looked different and acted different when Zach was quarterbacking versus when Mike White was quarterbacking. It just flat out did. The energy was just completely different. And again, part of that is because Zach Wilson was not good enough and that he did not play well. Of course, that is part of it. I'll reiterate because I already see the comments coming in. That Zach Wilson is 100% at fault for this as well. But again, Mike LaFleur going around and bad-mouthing his guy, the guy that he's supposed to be helping develop, is just a weird look. That's bizarre. And it shows me that there was a disconnect between LaFleur and the offensive staff and Saleh, at least what was being said, because Saleh's never said anything bad about any of his guys. You just don't do that as a coach. That's toxic. And then we got some insight into the fight between Mike LaFleur and Elijah Moore. When Moore requested a trade, Elijah Moore told LaFleur to go F himself. And they sent him home. And then he requested a trade. Toxic. That's what it is. It's toxic. And I don't think Elijah Moore is going to go anywhere. They removed Mike LaFleur, which I guess maybe that's a good thing that they moved that out of there and they're going to start fresh. But it just sounds like a bad working environment. And you can't win or you can't do anything in these toxic circumstances. It's just so frustrating that you finally thought They finally thought, all right, you move on from Adam Gase and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. They're bringing in their new culture. Things are going to change. And then you still have the toxic BS going on. Whether it's LaFleur talking with leaking to people that they don't have the faith in Zach Wilson, or then Elijah Moore telling Mike LaFleur to go F himself. Why does it have to be like that? Why does it have to be that way? Why can't we all just get along? Is that on Saleh? Is it just like, is he supposed to know that? Is that part of the reason why he moved on from him? Was it Woody Johnson getting involved? Because that also adds to the toxicness of it all. If Woody Johnson really does get involved, what does that say to potential candidates for coordinator spots coming in here? Say that you're going to have the owner breathing down your throat? He's the one calling the shots. It's not Robert Saleh. It's not Joe Douglas. It's the owner. A meddling owner. That always works well. It's worked great for Jerry Jones, right? And so many other instances of these owners who just love to get their grubby little mitts all over their product. Hire football guys to do the football jobs, right? That shouldn't be difficult. But I think this is a really bad look for the Jets. And this really rubbed me the wrong way because for a lot of 2022, until the very end, the end stunk. Losing 6 games in a row sucked. That was awful. But it felt like finally at the beginning of the year, things are changing. It looks like things are going to change. Are they? Are they really? Because you had another losing season at the end. You still don't know what the plan at quarterback is. And the toxicness is still there. Is it ever going to go away? Like, I just feel myself asking all these different questions. When you read that story this morning, when Zach dropped it this morning, I was interested. I was like, oh, okay, that's a really cool premise. It just goes to show that the level of toxicness in the building is just unbelievable. How does that change? What else do you possibly do? And I don't want to say move on because you can't keep firing these guys year after year after year. And that's not to say that in 2023, that if they miss the playoffs, that everything's fine and you can keep running that down the road. I don't think that's the case. I think there is pressure on Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh to make the playoffs in 2023, as there should be. That should be the expectation because they've been here long enough now. They took that baby step from the 4-win team to the 7-win team. Now make the playoffs. If you don't, if you have another 7-10 season or another losing season, or you just don't make the playoffs, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. It's not. But we got a little ugly look a peek behind the curtain of the toxicness that is still there for this Jets team. It's frustrating. Does it frustrate you as much as it frustrates me? Sound off below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary, and we'll talk to you next time.